ya le meri wakeira siguru ugune
Well, hello. This is Trina Mcgee once again, and I'm going to be joining, we're going to be joined by our Zoo Mountain Spirit very soon. Today we have a really heavy topic, weight loss, our concepts of weight, how we carry ourselves, what is healthiest. This is a really hard subject for me because I've had so much pressure, especially in my younger years as an actress in the 90s. You really had to be skinny. The standards were very different back then. And I remember it was so bad. A friend of mine was on a sitcom and they actually put a treadmill in her dressing room, okay, to make sure that she stayed a certain weight and to be camera ready. But there are millions of people out there that are not actresses or people who have to make a living by showing their body in any way. And what I'm looking at is a country that is really getting out of hand with obesity. I've been called a skinny bitch by women who I've had to point out to that 80% of African American women are overweight. That's a hard fact, and no one wants to really hear that from a skinny bitch like me. But that's the truth. That's what's going on. And I just wanted to touch on it today and figure out what's going on, what's the mind space of everyone, and how much of it really is our fault. How much of it is just the food that's been being presented to us in America, our choices. A lot of women I feel right now are feeling like, leave me alone. I'm happy. I'm plump. Don't talk to me about it. Well, you know, that doesn't stop me from being a really loving auntie, you know. I can't let people's, I don't know, I just can't let people go by like this without saying something, and I'm willing to take the backlash. So I'm going to bring on our Zoo Mountain Spirit, and let's get into it. Hello,
hi
my
there.
dear.
Hi, I always have to ask, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's always good to see you, you little skinny bitch.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I've worked really hard to stay a skinny bitch, and I can't say all of the reasons were the healthiest for me. But now that I'm older, my perception of weight and fitness is a lot different. I do it for me. So I wanted to ask you, like I just said, there's a statistic, 80% of African American women are overweight right now. Do you have any idea as to why that would be?
And you know, you said it, the first time you said it, it felt like a knife in my chest. And then the second time you said it, it felt like the knife just turned. Because it is a hard fact, but it's also a very painful fact, because I want something to come back with and negate you. It's like I'm searching the corridors, right, of my brain, looking for a comeback for that. But I have to just swallow my spit because I see it with the naked eye. I don't even need the statistic, you know. And it's sadder to hear the statistic because it's telling me that what I am seeing is actually the case. And you know how that seldom happens in life. But it used to be where I could walk. I'm a walker, right? Mm-hmm. So I could walk a mile and not see a single, I mean, in a Black community, right? I could walk a mile and not see a single overweight person or a single obese person. Even if they're sitting down, I could ride the bus, I could go on trips, and I would count them in one hand, traveling from South America to New York, right? I can count them in one hand.
Yeah.
But now it's every 2 to 3 people I see is, and I'm not just saying slightly overweight. I'm saying you could see that their discomfort in it, and it hurts me because we don't have a one-stop shop. We don't have this instant medicine. We don't have a remedy that caters to the people's need for immediate gratification. So we choose to keep our mouths shut.
Yes.
And so it hurts me on that note because of those reasons, but it also hurts me because I was 200 and change pounds for a good while, and people who've known me for a long time know that I went through that. And the difference, what happened in my life is that I managed to be surrounded by people who don't lie to me. They're nice people, they're great people, they love me. And I know they love me because no one would allow me to go past 200 and change in pounds. Everyone, my dad, my mom, my sisters, my brother, my cousins, I have people in my life who say, you know what, you're getting fat.
Yeah.
They didn't tiptoe around me.
Yeah.
And they didn't criticize what I ate. They didn't want to discuss it. It wasn't a conversation. They're just telling me, they're delivering information saying, hey, that's too big for you.
This is the facts. Yeah.
That's too big for you. And they didn't allow for my victim mode.
Yeah.
And we do that to each other.
Yeah.
So I think that, that's why it hurts me. We have to, I think we have to see where we're fortunate in selecting the people in our immediate environment that are not going to lie to us. I think it's the lying that's doing it more than
social
anything.
media is, when someone posts something and they could be looking crazy, and you'll get a whole bunch of people, yeah, you go girl, and you get that instant gratification in an area where maybe you really could use some improvement. A lot of these girls, the feedback I get is, I'm happy eating my cake. Why are you worried about it? And also one I get it prevalent is, I may be overweight, but that doesn't mean I'm healthy. That's what I hear from like Lizzo. I'm not unhealthy. I'm just overweight. What do you think about that?
First of all, I let the numbers talk, right? So I would like to hear your doctor say that. I would like to hear whoever your healthcare practitioner is testify to your healthiness. Now I understand there are people whose weight is balanced and they're carrying, some kind of terminal disease. Okay, so that happens because we're all human. But by and large, the numbers are what I'm talking about. Not just the numbers that you cited at the opening of our show about that large percentage of African Americans, people of African descent being, dominating that number, right? So there's that one digit, but there's also the digit that my own eyes see, right? The total that my brain comes up with, and it's like, wow, it's that bad, and I don't see it getting any better. And you're right, with social media giving you this instant gratification where you could look like you're about to, you're gonna have something happen, right? Yeah. And people are telling you how great you look. And then they show up to your funeral. That's the worst part. You got some nerve encouraging people to neglect their health in that way, but they show up and cry at their funeral. There's stuff that you could have done, just like there's stuff that you could do now. And believe me, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself because I've done it. Yeah. But the best thing really is to find your optimal weight wherever. And I'm talking about being skinny, okay? I'm talking about just find the weight that's going to carry your sacred vessel through this life. Yeah. So that it doesn't become a burden along the way. That's really the best way I can put it, is to find that weight that you can walk this life where it's not a burden to you. The sacred vessel where your spirit resides. Just let it be balanced. Let it have fewer illnesses, right? So that you're not out of breath every time you move your sacred vessel from point A to point B. And so that every time you see your reflection, nobody has to convince you to feel good. Nobody has to tell you that you're beautiful. Nobody, doesn't have to come externally.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that you know. And I think it's each one of us, our responsibility to get to that point in our lives where we can look at our bodies, our sacred vessel, and go, yeah, that's nice.
Well, it takes some looking inward to do that. And everybody right now is so used to this external gratification and looking at something and say, well, she's doing that, so it's okay. For instance, I just saw Sports Illustrated cover have a plus size model on there. I just saw some fashion show in Miami where they did swimsuits, and it was all really, really some very, very obese women. And I thought these women were beautiful. It had nothing to do with that. I just felt that, why are we promoting this unhealthy state? It really gives people this way of just giving up and not really listening to their own inner core that is really telling you, hey, I really should lose some weight, or I really should take care of this. But when you have all of America saying, no, you don't, go girl, that really is a problem. I really wish people would listen to themselves truly, but it takes a lot of tuning out of a lot of other things and influences around the world. I wanted to ask you, just on an herbal level, and we're going to get into that more in our part 2. We're going to be giving more solutions to losing weight. Right now, we're just talking about the concept and how people are dealing with weight in especially in this country right now. But what are some of the herbal remedies that you could recommend that might help along the way naturally with weight loss? A lot of people are taking this shot, and so I'd really like to know what some of your suggestions are.
Well, it is a very loaded question, right? For a very short show, but I would definitely like to scratch the surface on that. Well, it begins, the first step is acknowledging the fact that you haven't tried everything. That's the first lie, right? Stop the lying. Because the herbs won't work if you're still lying to yourself. So to get, the herbs work with truth, right? So get to that point to say, okay, that's enough. I want to feel better about my sacred vessel. So to start off with taking control and knowing that there is a solution. Telling ourselves we've tried everything and now I'm just going to surrender to it because this is the way, I'm meant to be. No, let's just try this one more thing. So the knowledge of these plants that help in that area, I hope and pray that having access to this information gives you another breath, or something else to aspire for, and not just know a plant and think, oh, I've tried everything. I'm learning myself every single day. So there's several. In my mind, I'm getting, it's like about 20 different plants that I know of. There are probably thousands more that I don't know about.
Give me your top 5.
The first one, let me give you this one, because watch what's going to happen. I can give you top 5, but let me give you this first one. It's actually an Ayurvedic remedy. It's called Ximena Silvestre. And Ximena is a very popular Spanish name, Ximena Silvestre. Now, this plant does what all the other ones that I'm talking about do, but this one is easily accessible. It's an Ayurvedic remedy. You can actually order it online. You can talk to an Ayurvedic practitioner and actually acquire it. But you can also look it up yourself, Ximena Silvestre, and see what it does. Now, this plant, like the other plants, influences how your body processes sugar, right? It also diminishes your that need for immediate gratification, that Jones, that sugar feeds, that addiction to sugar.
Takes the craving.
Exactly. It actually controls this craving for you. And all you're having is like 2 or 3 cups of tea a day. It's not that complicated. It does counter with insulin balancing medication. So you're going to have to, monitor that. But this plant is absolutely phenomenal. So it's being used to aid in weight loss. It's been used to aid in weight loss traditionally, especially after you have a baby and you don't want to contaminate your breast milk. It's an immune system regulator. But what they just discovered is that it actually has it works with your insulin. It has an intelligence to work with your insulin production.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of the smartest out of all of them. But amongst them you're going to have the green coffee bean tea. Mm-hmm. Similar elements in there. All of the herbs that contain quercetin, which is essential. We can talk more about that in the next show. But I wanted to share the common ones, right? White kidney bean tea, white kidney bean water. You can soak the beans or you can boil them. But please do your own research. This is an invitation for you to enter this world of researching with the admission that you haven't done everything. There are all of these solutions out here with plants from God that will help you process fat. They're fat burners that help you get rid of fat, especially from around your belly. But if you're denying the fact that you're carrying fat, we've got a problem, right? So Ximena Silvestre was one of the first ones. And the green coffee bean, white kidney bean. There is, let's see, there's one I put down here. There's some also that they're saying that they're giving these attributes to, but that's a lie. It doesn't happen. People are drinking cinnamon tea because they think they're going to lose weight. No, it may or may not help you, but it's not really a master fat burner, right? So amongst the fat burners and the ones that can regulate insulin and really help you process that area, as well as prevent your body from storing fat or overstoring fat, right? So ginseng is in that family. In fact, all the ginsengs are in there. And spices that you can use, I don't want to go away without sharing this. Okay, the two spices, you have fenugreek and oregano. They have the same qualities we talked about Ximena Silvestre. So oregano and fenugreek, right? Well, you can drink the tea, yes, but we're so conditioned to using just a little pinch of oregano and a little pinch of fenugreek. They are really strong tasting herbs, but you can enjoy the tea, right? You can make it into an iced tea and maybe flavor it a little bit to make it more palatable. But just include these things in your food. Look for recipes that include these ingredients. Now, both these ingredients are heavily used in Indian cuisine, and you notice these are some of the most youthful people. And you don't really see a weight problem there, you know, despite the fact that it's known as an eating culture. So, my sister, I feel you, but we can't get any bigger than this. You know?
No, we can't. Now, I want to ask you about something else. There's another element to weight loss and to governing yourself, your mind, body, and spirit. And that's about your spirit. What happens when I've been eating well for a while, and then one day I say, you know what, I'm going to go off the rails today. You know?
This is what we find happens like on a spiritual level with weight gain, is that with any addiction, right? We engage in behavior when we think our spirit is not watching. Actually, we deliberately go somewhere, and as soon as we think our spirit is not watching, that's when we'll eat, or that's when we'll insist on committing whatever that act is, and we think our spirit is not watching. So when we come back into consciousness, I didn't eat anything. Or an alcoholic does that, right? Because an alcoholic will have one drink, but conscious, and then maybe 5 or 10 drinks when their spirit is not watching.
So keep your spirit conscious to fight these addictions. You know,
have to stay present.
A food addiction or a cigarette smoking addiction.
Same
you
thing.
Need to, when you're going to light that cigarette, you're saying keep your spirit conscious.
You be there.
Present.
When you're engaging in the way you win over an addictive behavior is by rubbing your nose in it. Bring your spirit, bring yourself 100% present. So when you're eating, if you're fighting an eating urge, stay there while you're eating it. Don't eat it and forget about it, or try to forget, or erase all evidence the way alcoholics do. You know, put away the bottle, hide it, just get rid of it. I didn't do it. It didn't happen. So I think the first thing is to come into presence with the act.
Yes.
to be able to win over it.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing now, and like you said, including with social media, what we're engaging in as a society,
Mm-hmm.
is some serious gaslighting, some serious denial that will only result in exacerbating the addiction. We're just going to get bigger.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm talking, because it's like you, I can't just sit here and watch this.
Yeah. No, it seems like it all comes back to taking back your power from the media, taking back your power from the foods that are presented to us, and taking your power in how you handle your spirit and your consciousness in everything you do. And of course, this is a major one for us. I wanted to ask you, how much do you think do the GMO foods in America play a part in all of this?
Well, I can't blame them 100% because there are enough options out there. Yes, a lot of the foods, they have chemicals in them that can kind of confuse your digestive system. However, there's enough of a choice and an option out there.
Yeah.
One great example is like a luxury cruise, right? A lot of people go on a cruise and they come back really bloated and overweight. Well, you don't have to eat everything. Right,
Mm-hmm.
a cruise gives you all kinds of food, all the food groups. You can design a perfectly healthy meal, even on vacation, in a gluttonous holiday, on a cruise ship, or in another country, wherever you go. If you keep in mind, consuming things that are as close to the way God made it as possible.
Yes. Consuming things as close to the way our Creator made it as possible. I think, what I'm hearing here is just self-discipline. In this day and age, that's just not popular.
Yeah.
I'm hearing, I want to do it because I want to be happy, and happy is a real concern of everybody's now, to the point where it's almost dangerous.
It is. It's a life and death issue you're talking about.
Say that again?
It's life and death. This is a life and death issue. Yeah.
Yeah, every time we pick up the fork and the spoon, I don't think people realize it is a matter of life and death.
Yeah, you're not a trash can. You're a sacred vessel. You're not a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
So it begins right there.
Yeah. So that goes into self-love. I think a lot of African women have a lot of reasons to not feel the greatest amount of self-love. So it takes a special effort for us and a special kind of encouragement to get us there, and then cover all these areas of our life that will make us great. You could be the greatest career woman in the world, but if you are morbidly obese, I mean, I don't see how you could make it in any of the fields in your life. Shouldn't
we love we first?
Yes.
And it's interesting that you had brought up, this, like, at the beginning, this attitude, okay, leave me alone. Yeah, well, that's how you're going to end up alone. Because most, by and large, you can ask any man, and by and large, I'm not saying 100% everyone, but by and large, they don't want a woman weighing more than them.
Yes.
That's kind of, how it goes. And it kind of makes sense. A gentleman said to me, what if we're, if there's a volcano eruption and we're on a hill, I want to be able to carry you.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to stop and think twice. Do I save me or do we save we? And it's impractical to expect, a man like 146 pounds to lift and gingerly carry 200-pound woman, which is the size that I was. I'm not going to go any kind of, to carry me up the hill.
Yeah. So in fact, what you're saying is this is actually something that kind of stops our community from growing, because we're not turned on and tuned into each other.
Yep. Yeah. And men, like, they talk all this mess about that they like big women. They're full of it, I think. I do.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask, as we close it up, I will ask some of the men to come and comment and let us know what you think, and let us know, women, what you think. If you're going to be mad at me today, just let me have it. Okay.
Let's
But
talk
just know
about
everything
it.
we're talking about is being talked about out of love, sisterly love. So we're going to close it out today. Thank you so much, our Zoom Mountain Spirit. You've been so helpful. And next time we're going to give you some real remedies on how to tackle
Yes.
this weight. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Much love.